Hey everyone, how are we doing this evening? I'm going to come in and do a Facebook Live, being able to share with people different ways in which to be able to cope with the current energies that are going on at this moment. So I am just going to check to make sure that this is being heard because, oh good, it's working. So when you jump on, let me know where you're coming in from. Hey Chelsea, hey Adam, how is everyone going? Hey Anna, how are you, love? It's very late for you over in NZ, sweetie. It's good to see you all. So I was coming in to just do a bit of a quick chat around what is going on with the current energies, how to be able to work with it. I've heard so many stories over the past week, really, where it's become really heightened, where people are feeling really agitated, exhausted, overwhelmed. And most common thing that's coming up for people, hey Sarah, how are you, is around people's old stories that keep coming up, their limitations, you know, the crap the baggage that we've kept away. I'd love to hear if anyone else is experiencing this themselves, you know, where they've got, hey Sarah, how are you, sweetie, where you feel like, you know, just really old stories, old limitations are coming to the forefront, driving you crazy. Aloe just finished with some work. Oh, that's awesome, Anna. So it's good to have you on, sweet. So these are the common things that are coming up with people. As we move through the current energy, which is all around transition and transformation, when we go through this period, what happens is, hey Elvin, how are you, sweet? What happens as we go through this transitional period is that our soul, our mind, body, soul, and spirit need to eliminate and declutter everything that is going on within us. So what happens, hey Jason, what happens is old stories, old situations, old, sometimes even people from our past can pop up at these times as well. And what happens is that anything that is unresolved around that situation is being brought into the forefront for you as a way to gain a completely new perspective. Hey Chrissy, how are you, love? But what happens is a lot of people don't understand what is occurring, and so therefore they start to buy into the old baggage, the old stories, the old emotions that get triggered and stirred by these old limitations that come up. And they're everywhere in every part of our life. From, you know, with my students today, I discussed with them around what abundance blocks they had. So when I say limitations, and it's that frustration of feeling like I'm just about at that crossroad to, you know, and I can see that something amazing is going to turn up, that why is it that I feel so crap, and why is all this old shit coming to the surface? And most people just get stuck there and don't know how to be able to move through that period. And we can go into a space where we can either retract back in, or in some cases, those stories will keep circulating, going around and round and round in circles until you actually visit crazy town, because that's how it feels in your mind. You feel like you're going slightly crazy, but it's you that's doing it to you. And that's where it feels like it's crazy town. And that's where I always have a bit of a giggle, because I think as humans, we have the capacity to drive ourselves to crazy town the fastest way possible and forget to be able to stop and jump off get off that car ride that's visiting crazy town. So I really wanted to be able to come in and offer some suggestions on ways in which to be able to cope with the situation, and to be able to not so much just cope, but understand what is going on. Because as humans, if we have an understanding of what's going on, then we have the capacity to go, oh, now I know why this is happening, and then they can move forward. Hey Fabiana, sorry love. Hey Chrissy. So I've been working on a PDF all day today. So for anyone that wants to be able to grab this free PDF on ways to be able to help clear their crap and move through their shit, then yeah, definitely, Sarah, you know that name, on the train to crazy town. If this is something you would love to be able to get your hands on and be able to move through whatever emotions that are being triggered and old stories and blocks and limitations that are coming up, All you need to do is be able to write just yes, thanks in the comments area, and I will have it sent off to your messenger as soon as possible. And what this PDF and what this worksheet is all about is about helping you clear these blocks, how to just be able to move through this transition. Because when we go through this transitional period, I wrote it in my weekly forecast, when we go through this transitional period, it doesn't need to be difficult. But we as humans, we have the capacity to take something very, very simple and turn it into something very, very complicated and hard. And so therefore we don't do it, because as humans, we don't like pain. So we do anything to move ourselves away from it. Hey, Tony, how are you, love? It's great to have you on, sweet. And so therefore, when these old things that we have suppressed and denied and put away, or things that are unresolved, when they come to the surface, we don't know what to do with them. It creates an intensity. Usually as we're going through this transitional period, we are also feeling quite exhausted. So we don't have the energy to feel like we can cope with it. And it's not a matter of coping. And this is something I really wanted to share. When these things come up to the surface, it's not a matter of coping. It's a matter of knowing how to move through them, so that you can gain a completely new perspective, and therefore there's not struggle streak going on within you. Because when we have these limitations come up, or these old crappy shitty stories come up, we have resistance, we have an internal fight going on. So not only do we have this stuff coming up, but then we go into this internal dialogue of arguing with our own self, and hence why I say it's like visiting Crazy Town. So I'd love to know if this is happening for any one of you. I'd love to know some of the experiences you're feeling at the moment. And what happens is when we get there, we don't know how to move through that period. And so we resist it, we fight it. And therefore that just any little bit of energy that we have is getting consumed by just going around and round in circles, driving ourselves crazy. I think, you know, definitely as we grow older, we soon get sick and tired of those cycles. Hi, Heather, how are you, love? And I really wanted to be able to come in and share these really great tools to be able to help you, which are things that I share with my students inside my program, to be able to feel empowered, to attain that emotional mastery. Because when you can attain and when you can manage your emotions, you have a much greater capacity to cope with anything that comes up. And you also have a greater level of being able to take a step back and be able to understand what's going on and then take action, rather than a lot of the times when we're in this exhaustion phase, feeling, you know, crappy old stories and driven ourselves crazy. The only thing that happens is just this completely reactive action going on, and we feel like we're doing some steps to move forward, but we're not actually doing anything that is actually helping us. And so therefore we become even more exhausted, everything becomes heightened from this moment on. Yet when we understand how to be able to move through this period and just have a deeper understanding of being able to just go, hey, this stuff is coming up, what can I do to move through it? What are some of the things that will help me be able to shift this mindset and shift this energy? Because when we're going through this transitional period, we don't have a great deal of energy to consume. Hey, Christy. And so we want to be able to conserve whatever energy that we have so that we can put it towards focusing on the great things. Because at these transitional phases, and when we're going through so much transformation, we get so consumed by the thoughts that go around in our mind, and it is the thoughts that trigger the emotions, and then we get stuck on the emotions, and we get stuck and trapped in now, and usually in past situations that involve either other people or our own selves, and then we start to spiral downwards. The thing that people fail to remember at this really awesome time while we transition and move through to that, you know, up-leveling phase, is that there is something truly awesome and amazing and waiting for you. But if you only focus in on the crap and shit that's going on in your world, you are never going to have the capacity to look past that. And so therefore you are all just going to get, not all, but we get stuck in just here. And we don't just make it over that little threshold where we get to really, truly enjoy anything. And this is something that I am so incredibly passionate about as we lead towards Christmas, as the end of the year, that this, You know, the next couple of months, things are happening at a really, really rapid, quick phase. And so the faster we can move through these things that keep occurring and showing up for us, the faster we get to stay in a space of feeling more enjoyment, feeling more empowerment in the choices that we make, and feeling more empowered and being able to know that you're not being triggered by these old past experiences. Just had a look at the PDF, clear your shit, very cool. Yes, that's exactly what it is called. It is called, Dear Gorgeous Goddess, Clear Your Shit. And because that's exactly all it is. I know some people could take offense to it, but to me, that is the reality. If when your soul is saying to you and it's presenting you with opportunities, because every time it is bringing up old stuff, it is your soul's way of saying you have evolved, you have grown, and this is just shit that is weighing you down. And so therefore, when we understand that, we can go, you know what, my soul's saying, fuck, I have evolved. This is wicked. Show me what I need to do so I can just move on, because all I want is the good stuff, and I'm happy to work through what is coming up, but I want to do it in a way where it doesn't feel like my soul is being sucked out of me. I want to get through this with a deeper level of understanding, being able to maintain my energy, feel really wicked and awesome, and have my mind focused on the future and that next phase, because every time you clear something, you are creating space for the next awesome thing. But as humans, we like to hold on to everything because we're terrified of letting it go. But if you're holding on to all of that shit that is right there, guess what? You don't have the space for the next great thing to come in. We only have a limited amount of space within our physical structure in which, and even on a cellular level, in which to be able to absorb as much energy, and emotions are energy. Old baggage and old crappy shitty stories are all consumable energy. If we aren't clearing it, there is no available space. We don't get a new perspective. We don't get to allow more joy and more happiness to come in. We don't give ourselves permission to feel inspired. We don't give ourselves permission to take control back and say, you know what, these things are not happening to me as if someone has done something to you to trigger off all of this pain, hurt, suffering, and old shitty stories. It is actually being presented to you as the most amazing gift to say, hey, you have so outgrown this, girlfriend, it is time to move on. I'm already printed off my PDF, ready to clear my shit. Love it, Sarah. That's very, very cool. So as I was saying, if you want to be able to find a way to be able to move through and clear that crappy shit, all those stories, you know, they just play on repeat. You know, I'm not good enough. Why does this keep happening? Everything's my fault. Nothing's ever good enough. We all have something that plays over on repeat in our head. I hope that you're doing well. And as always, you're spot on. As always, a lot of family issues from my past are rehashing into my consciousness. I even feel the spiritual energy of the people in my family who hurt me as though trying to telepathically reach me. It triggers too many mixed emotions of longing and that there are many people I have no contact with. It is a hard decision to make as part. That is wicked, Alvin. I am so stoked for you. For me, there is a lot of stuff there that's going on and is definitely being shared with you, love. For me, the greatest gift that I would take from what is being presented to you right at this moment is the denial of feelings that you have within yourselves. Sometimes the suppression and sometimes the old shitty crappy stories are not things that have happened to us. They are the stories that we have created ourselves. They are the denial of emotions, the denial of hurt and pain that someone or a situation may have created, the denial and pain where we don't give ourselves permission to be able to speak our truth because we are more worried about how we will hurt someone else. We try and put on a mask and hide what's really going on in our internal world because we don't want people to see that we're vulnerable and that they've hurt us and leave us feeling even more vulnerable where they could personally attack us yet again. these are all the kind of the things that are coming up. I think this is the most gorgeous, gorgeous gift that has been presented to you, Alvin, because you get to clear all the shit around your sexuality, how you feel, because when someone personally attacks or doesn't accept who it is that you have grown into, we start to feel that every part of our beingness is unacceptable, and we will either pull away from people or we will go to the opposite ends to be able to prove that we are good enough. So I would go in and definitely check out the PDF. Thank you so much, Anna, and look at how you can clear this stuff, love, because God, this is a wicked, such an incredibly amazing gift that has been revealed to you. So welcome it with open arms, love. Just be that objective and have a look at the theme. I always think it's really important when we have these old stories come to the surface to not get caught up in so much the story, but to get more clear on what is the theme. So let me just sort of give you a bit of an example by what I mean by that. Say, for example, all of a sudden your partner says something and that really hurts and affects you. Then all of a sudden you are presented with something, a very similar situation where all of a sudden you may find like a girlfriend is personally attacking you. Both of those situations, they become the gift because they are the messengers that if your soul is trying to communicate and you're not listening to it, your soul is going to say, this is something really important, and so I need to bring this into the forefront for you, because it's so important that you clear it, because we have something truly amazing and waiting for you, but we need that space to be cleared for it to come in. So don't get caught up on the story. Drop down and be able to have a look at what is the theme. Is the theme around lack of self-worth? Is it not trusting yourself? Is it not speaking your truth? Is it feeling like you're not good enough? And then when we can get to the true core issue that presents itself, man, that's where radical change really happens, and that's where we get to see what really is being revealed to you at this incredibly amazing time, so that when we go to clear it, we're not just clearing away a couple of layers. We're going straight to the core of this baby and just like, let's get this out, because it's time for me to rise and shine at this moment. So it's such, and like, I know a lot of people out there are feeling like they feel like they've been put through the ringer. I really want to share with you this. If you can gain a completely different perspective and grasp the concept and the understanding as what's actually really being presented to you, this is where your energy levels go radically up, because you stop looking at it as if something is happening to you, and you start being able to see the beautiful lesson that is being revealed to you, gain a completely new perspective, being able to understand why this situation has been revealed to you. Then you can clear it straight away, because it's now not that emotional burden. It's like, sweet, cool, got that, let's move on. And that is why I was so passionate. I've spent probably half the day working on this PDF. I am so super excited. So if this is something that you would love to be able to get your hands on, simply just type yes, please in the comments in the comments area, and I will have it sent to your, I will send it through to your messenger ASAP for you, so that you can start working on it and start clearing away some of this stuff and being able to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Because when we get so consumed by all of these deeper emotions that have been triggered, they really do vibrate at a very, very low frequency, and therefore we start feeling heavy, we start feeling sluggish, and that just exacerbates the situation. Whereas when we understand that something is being brought to our situation, we move into a space of lightness, and we move into a space where we go, this is really cool, because what this situation is revealing is that I am evolving and growing, and if all I have to do is clear the stuff and move on, let's get the show going, because I am ready for that next up leveling that I can see, I can feel, and I know it is just on the other side of once I've cleared this stuff and make available space to invite and claim it and call it into your beingness. So this is something that I am really, really super excited, incredibly passionate about, something I deeply share with my students, to be able to attain that emotional mastery. Because when we are not being triggered by our emotions, and we are not being triggered by our own crappy, shitty stories, that is where we start to feel really, truly empowered within ourselves, because we're not working from a space of reaction. We are not working from a space of is someone else's fault and blaming. We're not looking at life as happening to us. We are taking the full responsibility and ownership to be able to go, you know what, this is my stuff. This is what's happened to me. But I don't need to carry this. I don't need to carry around the burden of this anymore. And when you can move through this period, and in a way, there is so much emotional freedom because you are free from those old confines of those old emotions, those old memories that trigger usually pain and hurt. You are no longer triggered by it. You work from a space of going, hey, this is coming up. Cool. Let's clear it. Why? Because I have grown and I'm ready to move through it. I'm not that person that I was when this first happened to me. I'm not that person that needs to keep rehashing over the old hurt and pain. When you've already gone through it once is usually enough. Yes, please do send the PDF when you can, Rachel. Thank you for your insights as well. They've confirmed to me exactly what was happening. Another thing too is that I am an intuitive empath, so I need to be able to learn to turn off when the people who I cut off are sending me. Definitely turning off, learning to, look, this is a really, really great question, Alvin. So thank you so much for revealing, for sharing it, love. Being an intuitive empath means that we have the ability, and I'm just going to share this just in case there's anyone that jumps on that doesn't understand what this is. An intuitive empath is a person that has the ability to be able to pick up on other people's thoughts, feelings, emotions, and intentions. Now, that is really, really great at the beginning. And I say that at the beginning because it does feel awesome at the beginning. But as time progresses, it's not so awesome because you don't remember to switch off. And so therefore, some of the things that can be triggered at this emotion, at this transitional time, if you're an empath, is that you not only have the burden of your baggage, but you have the burden of other people's baggage. So it is so incredibly vital to be able to develop that empathic skill so that you're no longer triggered by other people's stuff. It's almost like exactly what you're going to be able to do in this PDF, Elvin. You'll be able to use the same principle when working with that empathic part of our own self, is understanding that a lot of the times when people think around spirituality, soulful, ascension process, whatever it is, the language, universal work, whatever, you know, whatever the language is that you use to be able to define spirituality, is that they think that they need to be on 24/7. They forget that they are one part human, one part spiritual. Spiritual is the way in which we see the world. It is the way in which we process information. It is part of our beliefs and part of our values, and the way in which we like to be able to move through this world of spirituality, I feel like, and everyone has a different definition. Spirituality does not mean that you need to be on 24/7 like a light bulb and burn ourselves out. We need to be making sure that we are taking care of ourselves. And if you are so busy picking up on other people's energy, you are not taking care of our own self. And so therefore you cannot come back from a place of being able to serve and be that leader and be able to show up. And because, you know, however you show up is what is magnetized and shows up for you. So if you're exhausted or you're picking up on other people's crap, guess what? You start to forget who you are because you're so focused on other people's energy. And it's so important that to be able to take that responsibility and go, you know what, I have this skill and it is awesome and it is amazing, but it is skill. You don't see an athlete working out 24/7 on their skill. Why? Because they will burn out and they will not be able to perform at their best. That is the same with an empath. We have the ability to be able to turn it on and switch it off at our disposal, but a lot of the times people don't understand that they actually do have the capacity to do that. And it is of their optimal benefit to be able to do that so that you can continue to be that beautiful soul. You can't be that beautiful soul if you are burnt out by picking up on other people's energy. All that does is that you just keep adding layers and layers and layers and layers and layers until the stage where you just want to be able to run away from people and you don't want to be around them because you get so highly sensitive. And then a lot of people use the excuse, I'm an empath, I can't go out here, and I'm an empath and I can't. That's a lot of crap. It means that you have that skill, but it is very much undeveloped. Once it is a developed skill, then you will have the ability to switch it on and off at your disposal. The same as being a psychic, same as being an oracle reader. I don't walk around tuning into everyone's business, because why? I will burn my own self out, and it's not the most appropriate thing to do. So again, an empath is like being a psychic. It is not, or being an oracle reader or a medium. It is not our responsibility to tune into everyone's energy all the time. What our responsibility is to make sure that we are nurturing and taking care of ourselves. And taking care of ourselves is that point of being able to say yes to you, which means that it's not a matter of saying no to others, but what it is that you're being able to say, yes, I need to be able to switch off so that I can be the best version of myself and allow myself to continue to grow and evolve without the burdens of other people's energy being picked up on with me. So on this PDF, Alvin, I would definitely address the limiting beliefs around why you don't want to turn off. Is there a fear around thinking that if you turn off that empathic skill that you're being a disservice, that you're not being there to help other people? I would really have a look at what are the old limitations and old crappy shitty stories that are around why you don't want to switch off, love. So again, that's a really beautiful thing, is because once you can learn, and I would definitely consider that, because with you, Alvin, because without you being able to switch off, you're picking up on all your family stuff. And so therefore your current situation that you're going through is now compounded, because not only are you trying to work through your stuff, but you've got this other stuff of other people's that's coming in and interfering with the process of you being able to heal. And when we move through this transition, we have little energy, so you want to consume that for making sure that you're clearing your stuff. But if you'd learn to switch off that intuitive empath, even if it's just temporary, while you allow yourself to process and clear and make room for the amazingness, then by the time you go to clear it, turn it back on again, you'll probably find some of the stuff that's coming through for them won't even make any difference to you, because it's going to be of no relevance, because you will have vibrated that high that you don't need to tune into theirs, love. So I think there's some amazingly awesome gold things that are coming up for you at this point, and this beautiful clearing period that is definitely happening for you. But I would definitely say for you, Alvin, as well, I would also consider opportunities to get near the water. Water has this beautiful way in which it brings us back into balance, calm, that equilibrium. When we have that inner peace, we have more capacity to be able to understand and be able to get a much more expansive overview as to what is occurring. So that for me is something that is really important at this time, is that water element, both getting to the beach, but also making sure that I'm drinking plenty of H2O to make sure that all the space that I'm clearing within my own self is getting the opportunity to actually leave my physical structure. So water is really, really important at this time. So I hope this gives some people some really, some really great insight as to what is occurring with the energy, how to be able to understand what is actually being revealed to you right at this moment, knowing that this is a time in which we are supposed to move through these old crappy stories, not use them as roadblocks to keep us stuck at this point in this journey, and to be able to keep our focus on the amazing things that are going to enter into ourselves, allow ourselves to fully be engulfed by the excitement, the joy, the happiness, even though we don't know what they are, what is always on the other side. We can still feel that those emotional triggers that are coming up, that we can feel that excitement. We don't have to know what it is, but it doesn't mean that you can't enjoy feeling excited, feeling joy, feeling happiness. And a lot of the times it is because you know that you're clearing your stuff. So if you would love to be able to get your hands on this wicked, I'm going to say that because I'm really, really proud and stoked of this PDF that I've put together for everyone. If you would love a PDF, this workbook that I've put together to be able to help you move through these energies and be able to clear your crap, then simply just write yes please in the comments box, and I will have it sent out to you. And for the other people that would love to, for anyone that would love to be able to know about my online program, be able to tune in more in depth with their intuition and to be able to attain that emotional mastery, then you'll find a link in the comments, not the comments, in the top area where you can jump in and book in to have a free chat with me, and I can have a chat with you around what that could potentially look like for you. So I feel the feeling of anticipation, like it's waiting for Christmas morning as a kid. Definitely, that's what I'm saying, Sarah. Like there is we spend so much time focusing on all the crap that's coming up that we are forgetting to remember that we're getting caught in the past. There is something incredibly, I can't even share how incredibly exciting it is, and that's why I'm saying this transformation period doesn't need to be hard, drastic, or feel like your soul is getting sucked out of you. There is a much nicer option, and this workbook is there to help you choose that nicer option, but to also to be able to engage in connecting in with that beautiful excitement, that anticipation, and you don't have to understand why. Doesn't matter why. If you're feeling that, tune into it, because I can tell you, tuning into that excitement and all of that exhilaration is definitely so much nicer than being consumed by the heavy, dense energy of your old shitty crap stories. So no worries, Vivian. I will send that through to Messenger for you as soon as I jump off this call. And if you know of anyone else that would that you think would be really interested in being able to listen to what I've just shared with you, or would want the content, please feel free to either share this Facebook Live, I'll get it out, or tag them in it. Otherwise, I wish you all an incredibly amazing period of transformation. Remember, we have choices. We can choose to move through this period and enjoy and engage in the excitement and the exhilaration of the unknown, simply because we have created that available space for any amazing opportunity to enter into our world. But we can't have that if we are so consumed by our own shitty, crappy stories, and we all have them. There is not one person that walks this earth that does not have a shitty, crappy story that they've got going on repeat, driving themselves constantly crazy. It's time to get off the crazy train, people, and welcome in this incredibly awesome new energy that is about to, if you're not already feeling it, then clear your shit. It's that simple. But I hope this has all given you something really, really empowering that you can take away from today's session, a deeper understanding as to what's going on in the energy, and now know how to be able to navigate through this time. So much love to you all. Take care, and be kind and be good to yourself as you go through this. Remember, self-care is not selfish. Self-care is the priority where you learn to say yes to you. And that's exactly what this does. When we clear our shit, we're saying yes to us. We're remembering that we're important, and that this is matters, and it's important as part of your process, because you know that there's something truly amazing waiting for you. We just have to do the work. So take care, look after yourself, and always remember, be kind. What you hear you say in your head is really important at this time. So keep that mental mind channel, that internal dialogue, focused and dialed in on reminding yourself of just how truly amazing you are. And always remember to believe in the magic of your intuitive soul self, because it always knows the way, and it is guiding you right at this very given moment to be able to clear your shit. So take care, be good, and I will all catch you all very soon.